Welcome back to the channel. If you have been searching for answers about why someone suddenly vanished from your life, why they pulled away when you were giving them everything, or why you sense a heavy energy around a connection that once felt so promising, this reading is for you. Today we are diving deep into a situation where someone is carrying an immense burden, and that burden is the realization of what they did to you. What they turned away from. The love you offered that they were too afraid, too wounded, or too blind to accept. The cards have spoken very clearly today, and they tell a story of transformation, of awakening, of someone who is finally seeing the truth of what they lost when they let you go. This is not a reading about blame. This is a reading about recognition, about the moment when the facade drops and the heart can no longer lie. Your person is going through something profound right now, and by the end of this message, you will understand exactly where they are and what is coming next. Let us begin with the first card that emerged, because this sets the entire tone for everything that follows. For the longest time, your person has been wearing a mask. They have been pretending that they do not care, that they are unaffected, that they can move through life without you and feel nothing. Perhaps they told you they were not ready for commitment. Perhaps they acted like your connection meant less than it did. Maybe they disappeared without explanation, leaving you to wonder what you did wrong, what you could have done differently, why your love was not enough to make them stay. But the mask is falling now. It is crumbling piece by piece, and what lies beneath is someone who cares far more than they ever allowed themselves to show. This mask was never about you. It was never about you not being worthy or you not being enough. This mask was their protection, their armor against a world that taught them that vulnerability equals pain, that love equals loss, that opening their heart means inviting destruction. They have been pretending indifference because feeling the truth was too terrifying. Admitting how much you meant to them would have required them to change everything. It would have required them to face their own wounds, their own patterns, their own fear of intimacy. So they chose the mask. They chose to act like they could take you or leave you, like your absence would not create a void in their life, like they had options and you were just one of many. But the universe has a way of removing masks when the lesson is ready to be learned. Something has happened recently, some trigger, some moment of clarity, some experience that made it impossible for them to maintain the performance any longer. Maybe they saw you moving forward. Maybe they witnessed you choosing yourself after waiting so long for them to choose you. Maybe they simply reached a point where their own heart could no longer be silenced. Whatever the catalyst, the result is the same. The mask is off. They are done pretending. And in the quiet moments when they are alone with their thoughts, they are finally admitting to themselves what they have known all along. They care about you more than they showed. They love you more than they expressed. And the gap between what they felt and what they demonstrated is becoming a source of deep, aching regret. This is a pivotal moment for your person because once the mask falls, it cannot be put back on. They cannot return to ignorance once awareness has dawned. They are seeing themselves clearly now, perhaps for the first time, and what they see is someone who pushed away a rare and precious gift because they were too afraid to receive it. We now move to the second card, and this one carries immense weight. An awakening has arrived, and it has changed everything. Nothing will ever be the same again for your person, and consequently, nothing will ever be the same for this connection. There are moments in life that divide our existence into before and after. For your person, that moment has arrived. They have crossed a threshold, and looking back is no longer possible. The person they were when they turned away from your love is dying, and someone new is being born from the ashes of that old self. This turning point may have been triggered by a specific event. Perhaps they experienced a loss that put everything in perspective. Maybe they finally achieved something they thought would make them happy, only to realize that success feels hollow without you to share it with. They might have encountered a mirror in the form of another relationship or potential connection that made them see exactly what they had in you and exactly what they threw away. Or perhaps this awakening came from within, built slowly over time through sleepless nights and quiet realizations, through the accumulation of missing you in 1,000 small ways, through the growing understanding that no one else sees them the way you did, accepts them the way you did, loves them the way you did. Whatever form it took, the result is an irreversible shift in consciousness. Your person is waking up to the truth of this connection, to the truth of their own feelings, to the truth of what they have done. And with awakening comes responsibility. They can no longer hide behind ignorance or confusion. They know now. They know what they felt, what they feel, what they want, and what they destroyed. This turning point is creating a crisis of conscience. They are being forced to confront the gap between who they want to be and who they have been. Between the love they want to give and the love they withheld. Between the person they presented to you and the person they actually are underneath all the defenses. For you, this means that the dynamic is shifting even if you cannot see it yet. The energy between you is changing because your person is changing. The power balance is correcting itself. Where once you were the one waiting, hoping, trying to prove your worth, now they are the ones coming to terms with your worth and their own failure to honor it. The third card brings us to you, and this is where the energy of this reading becomes truly transformative. You are done waiting to be chosen. Choosing yourself comes first now, and this shift in your own consciousness is actually what has catalyzed so much of the change we are seeing in your person. There is a profound truth about human connection that we often forget. We teach people how to treat us not just through what we accept, but through what we refuse to accept any longer. For a long time, you accepted crumbs from this person because you believed in their potential, because you saw their wounds and wanted to heal them, because your love was genuine and unconditional and you hoped that eventually, they would feel safe enough to meet you there. But something shifted within you. Perhaps it was gradual, a slow building of self-respect that finally overflowed. Perhaps it was sudden, a moment of clarity where you realized that waiting for someone to see your value is a form of self-abandonment. However it happened, you reached a point where waiting to be chosen felt more painful than choosing yourself, where accepting less than you deserved felt like a betrayal of your own heart. This is your power, and it is magnificent. You have reclaimed your energy. You have withdrawn your love from the space where it was not being reciprocated and redirected it toward your own growth, your own healing, your own life. You have stopped making yourself available for someone who treated your availability as an option rather than a gift. And here is the beautiful paradox of this situation. Your choice to choose yourself is exactly what is forcing your person to face the truth. When you were waiting, when you were available, when you were trying to prove your love, they could maintain their illusions. They could tell themselves that you would always be there, that they had time, that your love was a constant they could take for granted while they figured themselves out. But when you stopped waiting, when you turned that love back toward yourself, you created a vacuum. You removed the safety net. You showed them that unconditional love does not mean unlimited tolerance, that your heart is a gift not a guarantee, that your presence in their life is conditional upon their ability to honor it. Your power now comes from your wholeness. You are not waiting for them to complete you. You are not hoping that their return will validate your worth. You have validated yourself. You have chosen yourself. And this means that if they want to be in your life moving forward, they must rise to meet you at this new level. They must prove themselves worthy of a heart that no longer tolerates less than it deserves. The fourth card brings us to what is happening inside your person right now on a very practical level. Words have been building in their heart. An apology is forming, gathering weight and substance, becoming almost ready to be spoken. Your person has things they need to say to you. They have explanations that have been forming in their mind, acknowledgments of their behavior, admissions of their fear, expressions of regret that have been rehearsed in countless imaginary conversations. They are preparing to speak, to finally break the silence that has existed between you, to offer the words that you needed to hear long ago. This apology is not superficial. It is not a strategy to get you back or a manipulation to ease their own guilt. The cards indicate that something genuine is being constructed here. Your person is doing the work of understanding exactly what they did wrong, exactly how their actions affected you, exactly what they need to take responsibility for. They are not just preparing to say sorry. They are preparing to demonstrate that they understand why sorry is necessary. The apology is taking time to form because your person is afraid. They are afraid that you will not accept it, that too much damage has been done, that their words will fall on ears that have closed to them. They are afraid of rejection, of finally being vulnerable only to discover that they have lost their chance. This fear is causing them to hesitate, to wait for the right moment, to try to find the perfect words that might somehow bridge the gap they created. But the pressure of these unspoken words is becoming unbearable. They can feel the apology building like a storm inside them, and soon it will demand to be released. Whether it comes in the form of a letter, a message, a conversation, or some other communication, the energy of this card is clear. Your person is almost ready to speak their truth, to finally give voice to everything they have been suppressing. When this apology comes, you will need to trust your intuition about its authenticity. The cards suggest it will be genuine, but only you can know whether this person has truly changed or whether they are simply reacting to the loss of your attention. Listen not just to their words but to the energy behind them. True remorse feels different from regret at being caught or fear of losing something convenient. The fifth card reveals something essential about the nature of this bond between you. This connection was never an accident. It was written long ago, destined, fated, part of a larger plan that your souls agreed to before you ever met in this physical lifetime. You have probably felt this from the beginning. Even when things were difficult, even when your person was running, even when the connection seemed to bring more pain than joy, there was something that kept you tethered to this person. Something that made walking away feel impossible even when staying was hard. Something that made other connections pale in comparison, that made this person feel familiar from the first moment, that created a sense of recognition that defied logic or explanation. This is because your souls know each other. You have traveled together before, in other lifetimes, in other forms, in other circumstances. You have made agreements, set intentions, chosen to find each other again in this lifetime to continue a journey that began long ago. The purpose of this connection is not just romantic fulfillment, though that may be part of it. The purpose is growth, healing, awakening, the evolution of both souls through the mirror of their connection. Your person is beginning to sense this too. As they move through their awakening, as they feel the weight of their choices and the pull of their heart, they are tapping into the knowing that this is not just any connection. This is the connection. The one that changes everything. The one that cannot be replaced or replicated or forgotten. The the one that their soul has been seeking even when their conscious mind was running from it. Understanding the destined nature of this bond does not mean that union is guaranteed. Free will always plays a role, and both parties must choose to do the work necessary to honor such a sacred connection. But it does mean that the energy between you is powerful, persistent, and purposeful. It means that even in separation, you are connected. Even in silence, you are communicating on a soul level. Even when it seems like this story has ended, the larger story continues to unfold. Your person is feeling this destiny now. They are recognizing that their attempts to walk away, to minimize this connection, to treat it as ordinary, have been futile because this connection is anything but ordinary. And this recognition is part of what is driving their transformation. They know on a deep level that they cannot simply move on and forget you. They know that whatever happens next, you will always be the one who showed them what real love looks like, and they will always be the one who had to learn how to receive it. The sixth card brings a promise and a commitment that is being forged in the fires of your person's current transformation. No more holding back emotions. Ever. Full presence is their promise to themselves and, by extension, to you if you choose to allow them back into your life. Your person has been a master of emotional withholding. They have kept their true feelings locked behind walls so thick that even they sometimes lost access to what was real. They have given you just enough to keep you hoping while holding back the depth of what they actually felt. They have disappeared when emotions became too intense, shut down when conversations became too vulnerable, retreated into silence when their heart demanded expression. This pattern of withholding has been their primary defense mechanism, learned probably in childhood, reinforced by past hurts, maintained as a way to feel safe and in control. But they are recognizing now that this withholding has cost them everything. It has cost them your trust. It has cost them the depth of connection that was available. It has cost them the experience of being truly known and truly loved because they were never truly showing themselves. The commitment that is forming now is a commitment to presence. To showing up fully. To feeling everything even when it is terrifying. To expressing what is real even when it makes them vulnerable. To choosing connection over protection, intimacy over isolation, love over fear. This does not mean that your person will become perfect. Old patterns do not dissolve overnight, and there will likely be moments of regression, moments when the fear rises again and they are tempted to retreat. But the difference is that now they are aware. Now they see the cost of their withdrawal. Now they understand that love cannot grow in the soil of emotional absence, and they are making a conscious choice to cultivate a different way of being. If this person returns to your life, you will need to observe whether this promise manifests in action. Words are easy, especially words born of regret and longing. But true change is demonstrated through consistency, through the willingness to stay present when things get difficult, through the courage to keep communicating even when the conversation is uncomfortable, through the daily choice to be seen rather than to hide. The seventh card takes us into the heaviest energy of this reading, and it is important that we sit with this honestly. Your person is carrying a weight of regret that is reshaping them every single day. This is not a comfortable process. This is not a gentle realization. This is a crushing burden that they are learning to bear and, paradoxically, learning to be grateful for. Regret is one of the most painful emotions a human can experience because it combines grief with responsibility. When we lose something through no fault of our own, we grieve. But when we lose something because of our own choices, our own blindness, our own fear, we regret. And regret carries the additional burden of knowing that we were the architects of our own loss. Your person is living with this knowledge now. They are waking up every morning with the awareness that they had something precious in their hands and they let it slip away. They are going through their days haunted by memories of moments when you reached out and they pulled back, when you offered love and they offered excuses, when you saw their potential and they chose to stay small. This regret is physical. They feel it as heaviness in their chest, as tightness in their throat, as a persistent ache that no distraction can fully eliminate. It follows them into their work, their relationships, their quiet moments alone. It has become a constant companion, a reminder of what they are working to transform. But here is the crucial insight of this card. This regret is not destroying them. It is making them better. The weight is serving a purpose. It is breaking down their ego, dissolving their illusions, forcing them to confront truths they would rather avoid. It is teaching them empathy, showing them what it feels like to be the one who caused pain rather than the one who received it. It is building their character, forging their integrity, preparing them to be someone who can actually hold the kind of love you are offering. Your person is being refined by this regret. They are becoming someone who will never again take love for granted, who will never again assume that presence is permanent, who will never again withhold their heart from fear of being hurt. The pain of losing you is teaching them how to value you, how to value love, how to value the courage it takes to be vulnerable. This is the alchemy of regret. When we allow it to teach us rather than destroy us, it becomes one of our greatest teachers. Your person is in the midst of this alchemical process, and while it is painful to witness and more painful to experience, it is necessary for the emergence of who they are becoming. We arrive finally at the 8th card, and this one brings the energy of hope, of possibility, of beginnings that emerge from endings. Growth, commitment, love, it all begins now. You are both finally ready. This is not a return to what was. The old chapter is closed, and trying to revive it would be futile. The dynamic that existed between you, with you waiting and them running, with you giving and them taking, with you hoping and them avoiding, that dynamic is dead. It cannot be resurrected because both of you have outgrown it. But something new is possible. Something built on the foundations of everything that has happened, all the lessons learned, all the growth achieved, all the illusions shattered. A new chapter that begins with two people who have done the work of becoming whole within themselves and are now ready to explore what becomes possible when two whole people choose to create together. You are ready because you have chosen yourself. You have reclaimed your power. You have established your boundaries. You have learned that your worth is not dependent on anyone else's recognition of it. You have become someone who can love fully without losing yourself, who can be vulnerable without being naive, who can hope without being desperate. Your person is becoming ready because they have faced their shadows. They have felt the weight of their choices. They have committed to a new way of being. They have learned that love requires presence, that connection requires courage, that receiving requires the willingness to be seen. They are becoming someone who can actually meet you where you are, who can honor what you offer, who can give as much as they receive. The new chapter that is beginning is not guaranteed. It requires both of you to continue choosing growth, to continue communicating honestly, to continue prioritizing the health of the connection over the protection of your individual egos. It will require patience as trust is rebuilt, as new patterns are established, as you both learn how to be different with each other than you were before. But the potential is real. The energy is aligned. The timing is approaching. If you choose to open to it, if your person continues to demonstrate through consistent action that they have changed, if you both remain committed to doing the work that conscious relationship requires, then what emerges from this painful period could be more beautiful than anything that existed before. Because this new chapter is built on truth. It is built on the courage to see clearly, to feel fully, to show up completely. It is built on the recognition of what was almost lost and the determination to never again take it for granted. It is built on two people who have been through the fire and emerged transformed, ready to discover what love looks like when it is chosen consciously, given generously, and received gratefully. As we close this reading, I want to speak directly to your heart. You have been so brave. To love someone who could not receive it, to keep your heart open in the face of rejection, to choose yourself when choosing them was no longer an option, this has required immense courage. Do not doubt that your love was seen, even when it seemed ignored. Do not doubt that your love mattered, even when it seemed rejected. Do not doubt